let's go ahead and let's make a simple sword. So let's go, and if you haven't already, go ahead and make a new file here. And we're going to tab into edit mode, and what we'll do is we'll add in a loop cut again. And I just like adding in the right click immediately. And what we can do is we can delete these faces here. Um, and you can always select all the faces that you don't want and delete the faces as well. Let's hop into the modifier tab, and we'll add in a mirror modifier. And in my tutorial, I am using the Y, mirroring the Y. So let's make our sword here. So again, when you're making these models, you want to make sure that you are not only saving as you go, but you're saving in general. Okay. So we now have this little box here, and one thing to note is that right now we're modeling to our convenience. If you wanted to actually make this to a sword to put into like Unity 3D or another game engine, you'd have to scale it. So just keep that in mind, okay? So what we'll do is we will E to extrude, and we will hop into the edge, and we'll just simply move this out kind of like that, just like that here. And we'll also move this out here, okay? And that's going to create somewhat of the base here. Now let's E to extrude again, and then let's push E to extrude here. So we're going to give this more of like a medieval broadsword kind of sword here. There are different kinds of swords. My favorite are the Xiphos, which is the Greek hoplite sword, but we can just simply make it like this here. Now we can go and add in extra features later, but for now let's concentrate on the sword. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and add in a loop cut right here. Okay, and somewhere along those lines. And I'm going to push E to extrude here. Now this could work as a sword, but instead I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to add in a loop cut here and a loop cut here. Okay, and that way it's a little bit better. It's kind of in the middle there. So we can make this as long as we want here. Now, just because we're making it long doesn't mean it's actually harder to render. Remember, when it comes to rendering more and harder rendering, it ends up being more faces. So let's go ahead and let's add in yet another loop cut, and we'll add in, and we're just gonna undo this here so we can loop cut that, and we're just gonna add it in there, okay, because we want this to have some sort of blade. So I'm just going to move that out like that. All right, and as you can see, this is starting to shape up. I'm going to hop into vertex, and this is my favorite part about making swords. Perfect. Yeah, so look at that. That looks actually pretty awesome if I may say so myself. Now there's a few things we could do. Let's hop into the we'll just hop into the face here, and we'll go to the bottom. It needs a couple things here. We're going to extrude here, and we can actually probably make that a bit bigger. And all we're going to do is we are going to add in and just make this one a bit bigger. Okay, and we will select these, kind of move it out, and select these at the bottom and move it out here. So now we got kind of a base here. All right, and just kind of moving around here. Now there's a couple things we could do. Let's hop into the edge select here. We can move the edges in for all of these here, and just like that. Makes it look a little bit better. we could move these edges in as well. Up here, you can kind of move it in or even move it out. But I'm actually just going to leave that the way it is. And the one thing that I was going to mention to you is we could probably stop right here. This is low poly enough to make it work. But what I was going to mention is this. We could extrude and then select these to extrude as well. And there you go. That's a completely different sword. It's up to you whether you want to have that or not. It could be beneficial. It could be what you want. It's up to you. So remember, save along the way and save in different versions. Oftentimes, when you're saving along the way, the more versions you get, and some of them are better than others. And this is something that when you're modeling, you definitely want to do. And that way you can also compare your thought process. This includes a tutorial.